Hey everyone, so I'm doing an updated version of my getting started speedrunning Bayonetta 2. Basically the reason why I'm doing this is at the time of this recording, the original video was made almost about 2 years ago. And since then we've had actually a lot of people start running the game, which is awesome. And basically there's a lot of information's kind of come up to light, and it's time to do a new updated video with everything that we've been learning from the community. Now, when I first made my first video, it was basically I was the only person running the game at the time. And now with the Switch port out, a lot of people have come in, which is really great. And we also refer to, like, whenever we have somebody drop into the Discord, we point them to this video and say, hey, watch this. But even if you're watching this and you don't really plan on speedrunning, that's perfectly fine too. You don't have to speedrun. In fact, a lot of these strategies and tips will still work in casual play. You may not be doing everything exactly as we do, but that's perfectly fine. This video is just to help anybody who wants to use these tactics and tips. In the future, hopefully I'll be making other videos showing basically all our skips that we've learned to date. There's a new one that we've known about for a while, but it actually became viable within the last 2 months. I want to make a new video where everything's all consolidated into one instead of kind of scattershot like it is now. And also maybe another video in the future about strategies to use for certain parts of the games or boss fights. So I'm going to start talking a little bit more about speedrunning right now, in particular to this game. Speedruns on this game are done on the Switch. The Wii U version is what, of course, originally came out to, but you should not really be playing on that unless you absolutely have no choice. The reason why, the Morgan asked me this question the other day in my Twitch chat, was what are the differences between the Wii U and the Switch version? The biggest one is load times. The Wii U, on the disc version, which is what I first started speedrunning on, it took around 30 seconds for a level to load. And that's a long, ridiculous long time. And when you also were to go into your sub menu to use an item or change a weapon, that would be anywhere between 4 seconds up to another 20 to 25. So you're bleeding time left and right. It's just really slow. The digital version for Wii U helps speed things up, but not by a whole lot. Levels will load maybe around 24 to 25 seconds. It was noticeable, but still not that great. Then the Nintendo Switch ports came out, and if you're playing on the digital download version, which is installed directly to your Switch internal memory, level load times are anywhere between 8 to 10 seconds. If you're playing off the digital cart, or actually the physical card I should say, you're looking between 9 to 11 seconds. So speed has been dramatically, really improved. So that's a big bonus. The other thing too is that the Wii U ran on a variable frame rate, and the Switch still does, unfortunately. So basically what that means is the frame rate's not locked. It's not a locked 60 frames per second. If you're playing the game on Wii U, you're running anywhere between 44 to 60 frames per second, which means you're going to have dropped inputs. You're going to hit the button, it's going to be on an off frame, it's not going to read it, you're just going to be standing there. It still happens on the Switch. Basically, the Switch version runs usually pretty close to 60, if not 60 a lot of times, but it will dip occasionally down to the 50 or 45 still. But those ventures into the 40s are very brief. It's usually around the 50 frames per second mark it'll drop down to. So Switch is the definite way to do it. However, that all being said, I am actually showing you the video today is all recorded on the Wii U. Kind of. Basically what this is I'm running off of CMU emulator, which is the Wii U emulator for your PC. The reason why I'm doing that is so I can show you controller inputs. Like so, you can see this lovely display on the screen. Yes, I am aware it is not a Switch Pro controller, it is an Xbox One controller for these purposes. However, these buttons are mapped exactly to what they are on the Switch. You have your gun, your punch, your kick, your jump, weapon switch. I don't know why it keeps showing that out there. It keeps doing double. Your switch and your dodge. So everything is still the same. I wanted to do this so when I start showing off techniques, you would have a better understanding for it, because sometimes you can watch something and not really understand how it's being done, but now at least you can see exactly what's going on. So that's definitely going to help things out. So you may have also noticed that right now I'm in the Star Fox costume. Just like before, it is vital to a speedrun, or actually just even playing the game casually, I still recommend it. It costs 100,000 halos to buy from Rodon's shop, and depending on how you're able to play the game, usually a lot of speedrunners can afford this item right after Chapter 1 Noaton is completed. Sometimes even before, but they don't have the option to do it until the shop and everything. It's kind of complicated. The reason why we use this costume is that the guns are the best weapons in the game, but this costume doubles up your shots. Basically, whenever you're doing an attack or any type of combo in this game, you want to hold down the attack, because if you do just... Actually, let me switch over here. Here we go. So if you just start pressing buttons like this, you're going to get some attacks. We all know it's nice and fast. There's some gunshots at the end. But if you hold them down, you have gunshots starting to come out. And with this costume, it doubles the last parts of the attack. So 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4. The guns do the most damage per second in this game by far. For Bayonetta, they are the best weapons to use, hands down. I went through 2-3 years ago and tested every single weapon multiple times to see how fast it would take to defeat enemies. The guns won every single time. So, with that, I'm going to go through here and also talk about some other things with the guns. So, of course, put this costume on as soon as you can because it does double up everything. This is also really crucial for hit stun. Hit stun is basically when you go and you attack an enemy, especially with your guns going and keeping them locked down, they can't move out of the way. On easy and normal mode, this is really crucial, especially certain fights like against Baldur. It helps keep him locked in place so he can't get free, start trying to do attacks on you. And this also works for a lot of larger enemies too. When you start climbing up higher the difficulties, like for, let's say, third climax or hard mode or infinite climax, it's not as effective. So just keep that in mind. The higher up in difficulty you go, the less stun effect or hit stun you're going to have on enemies. They're going to start to be able to get out of it. There's also dodge offset is carried through for this game from Bayonetta 1, and I'll talk about it in a little bit. And also the other thing I'm going to talk about before we get started is taunting.
If you need to learn how to talk to a lady, ask your mum.
Taunting actually serves a purpose in this game. You have a quick taunt,
Dreadful.
and then of course you have the long taunt that I just did. We'll just skip out that animation because you've already seen it. Taunting does 2 things immediately. 1, it enrages enemies that are nearby. This allows you to get more halos off them, like a higher score count. More halos means more money for you to buy techniques, lollipops, different items you may need throughout the run, including your costume, and later on we'll discuss the Earrings of Ruin. The other thing it does is it carries over, extends out your combo time. Like if there are a set of enemies that you're going to defeat, but another one's not going to spawn for about 4 seconds and you're going to drop your combo, it's going to count you out and you lose all your money, hold down the taunt button. This will extend out your combo time until the next wave spawns in. You can quickly attack and you'll still build up even more combo counts and more higher halo counts, which is what you definitely want to have. So let's move on to some really quick combos to touch upon. They're going to be really crucial for doing a speedrun on this game. The first one I like to do is punch, kick, kick. So just real fast is punch, kick, kick. Your standard combo. This is a really, really good launcher. This tends to keep people locked in place. Really good hit stun because it launches them in the air. They just keep taking shots after shots. And it's really excellent. It's also one of the faster combos you can do. So that's punch, kick, kick. When you're doing your dodge, like your attack modifiers, I should say, make sure that you're holding it down long enough so you see how those double shots come out before you move on to your next attack. It's really hard to kind of go slow in a speed run or just playing casually. You want to go fast, you want to get those next attacks out, but you want to make sure you're getting those double shots in to do even more damage. So I mentioned a moment ago the dodge offset. That's basically if you're interrupted in a combo, you can continue your combo right when you get out of a dodge. So let's say I'm doing punch, kick, a guy's about to take a swing at me, dodge, kick again. So if you hold down the attack you're going to do and then dodge, as soon as you get out of the dodge, push the next one for your combination, it comes right out. So this is really helpful for not dropping combos, but also that hit stun, keeping people locked down. So you can do the punch, kick, kick, get all that going. It also speeds up the recovery time of your next move set. So if you want to do another punch, kick, kick, dodge out of your attacks. In fact, I say usually dodge out of most of your attacks if you can before starting your next combo. It speeds things along. Another decent combo to use, I'm not really too much of a fan of it though, personally, is punch, punch, kick, kick. It's really good for faster type of enemies. It kind of locks them down a little bit more, but I'm not really a fan of it because it doesn't seem to like launch them into the air or do anything really too spectacular. The move that's supposed to launch at the end of your second doesn't really seem to do a whole lot, but it looks like this. Dodge out of it. So going this direction so you can see the gunshots a little better. So when you get those kicks coming to it, when you get the punches, you get the kicks, you can see how many shots are coming out like crazy. So that will definitely build up a lot of damage and score pretty quickly. My personal favorite is punch, punch, kick, kick, kick. It is slower. You actually need to dodge in after the second kick before you do the final one in the combo. But this does the most damage hands down, but it is the slowest. So it's punch, punch, kick, kick. We're going to dodge out and kick again. If you do it without the dodge, it looks like this. You see you got that kind of awkward pause. So it's really vital that as soon as your second kick comes out, you got all the shots, the dodge, and then kick again. And that speeds it up entirely. You can just keep doing it over and over. You can even dodge out of that last kick, start up the combo again. For flying smaller enemies, or if you need somebody to get out of your personal space real quick, punch, kick, punch is still the way to go. Beware, this will usually send somebody flying far away from you, but for smaller flying type enemies, it usually will wipe them out with 1 or 2 combination attacks like that. Or if somebody's close to a wall, you can wall bounce them, so they'll hit the arena wall, fall back in. They'll take them a little time to get stand back up, and you can either do a punch, kick, kick, punch, punch, kick, kick, or the longer one. Another little thing to think about as well, the punch, punch, kick, kick, kick works kind of better on larger enemies. If you have a whole bunch of smaller people around, it's going to take up more time, so just keep that in mind. It's more of a situational type deal. So when using the weapons in this game, we've already talked about the guns, the damage per seconds. It's some of the best weapons to use in the game. We also use the swords as well. These lovely, lovely swords that are so much fun in casual play. In a speedrun, we maybe use them 3 times, unfortunately. They are a lot of fun, but they're just very, very, very weak for the damage output. But they do have something really awesome, which is the 360 sword spin. So what you do with this is just a simple 360 spin on your controller, and then hit the attack button, and keep tapping it, because if you don't, you just get a super fast spin. Not really going to do a whole lot. But keep tapping it, and that's the way to go. So the reason why the swords are so awesome, not only because of the 360 sword spin, but that hitbox is gigantic. It actually goes probably about 10 feet out, or about 3 meters out from the edge of the swords. So you'll start catching people who are not near your sword spin radius, and they'll still get trapped and getting hit. This comes in handy a couple times when we have several groups of kind of annoying enemies who try to jump around or cause issues. You can lock them down and just keep spinning constantly. The other weapon, oh, by the way, before I jump to the other weapon, I do have, you may notice that Bayonetta is glowing. I have a climax brace on, which gives me infinite magic, so I can do the Umbran climax. So this is her 360 spin. We've already seen me do that a couple times. Activate this. This is what happens when you do the 360 spin now. It's like just ridiculous. So you already have a gigantic hitbox to begin with, and then it just gets even bigger. So this is why the swords are really useful and very crucial for about 3 areas in the game. Now, the other weapon I want to talk about, before we're actually going to come back to the swords in just a minute, is the hammer. This thing is great. We find it in Chapter 8 and 9. In every single level of the game, if you find a record piece, that basically means that there's other record pieces in that level that you need to hunt down to get that weapon. This is the only one that's spread across 2, which throws off a lot of people playing the game for the first time or even going back trying to collect everything. So the hammer is really strong, but as you can see, it's very, very slow. And that is a problem. You do also have a 360 spin as well. The hitbox for this is not as good for the 360 spin. So why do we use a slow weapon in a speed run? What we're doing to speed this up is a technique called jump canceling. So what it is you do an attack, then you press jump to cancel that animation or attack animation, and then quickly hit attack again. And this will be, and you just repeat it over and over. So it's attack, jump, attack, jump, attack, jump, attack, jump, attack, ad nauseum. And it looks like this. You can change direction. And take note of the button inputs that I'm doing right now. It's the timing that you'll need. When you're in practice mode, like right here, if you start learning it, keep in mind that practice is a full locked 60. I don't think I've ever seen a frame drop at all or frame dip in practice mode. So I would recommend to do jump canceling to learn it in practice mode like I'm in right now. Then in the game, just start practicing in the wild. Chapter 13 is a great place for it. That's Vigrid, and also Chapter 15 as well. It's basically a lot of enemies, different types coming at you. You'll have to deal with sometimes like frame dips down to 50 or so. So that gets you more acclimated to what's actually going on in the game. And if you do fast enough, this only seems to work in practice mode. You can do it like this. So the jump canceling is really awesome. And if you have enough magic or combine this with a red lollipop, you get this wide sweeping attack. This does a lot of damage, does great lockdown for enemies as well. The hammer is crucial in order to speed up your run, especially with the use of lollipops. But this just keeps going through, does a lot of damage on bosses too. You do have the 360 spin, as I mentioned before. It looks really cool. It's going to catch a lot of people, but it's still not as strong as just your straight off attack like this. Now, with the jump canceling, as I mentioned, it's because before in my previous video, I was trying to do, see if I can do it this way. Yeah, it kind of throws me off a little bit. I was doing jump, then trying to attack real fast, and one of the kind of newer runners we have, Cap, he's like, "Hey, Wurzel, try attacking first, then jump." So I was like, why didn't I think about this? I've been playing this game for like 5 years at this point. Why didn't I think of that? So just remember doing jump cancel with the hammer. Attack first, then jump, or else you'll get this happening. Like if you do it wrong, you'll get a jump. Like if you try to do it too high, if you get the timing wrong, you can still jump cancel too soon. Make sure that the attack comes out first, then do it. So you want to have a slight little pause, get that attack going, then you're good. Because if not, if you get in the heat of the moment, you're going to jump, or you do a double jump and it's going to throw you off. It's going to really mess up your day. So I mentioned with the swords, jump canceling. You can actually jump cancel in this as well. This will speed up your 360 spin, because without it, like this, you have your cooldown. You can do another one. You can jump cancel that. If I can get it to work right. I think it might be an emulation issue right now, but you can actually jump cancel and get it to work. Like basically, if you're playing this on the Switch, it's gonna do the same thing. You'll have like a slight little, you'll hear the hop sound, like the hook, like Bayonetta's jumping, but you'll start to spin up instantly again. It's a little tricky because you do run the risk of doing the 360 spin in the air above enemies, so just keep that in mind. But if you want to speed it up, you can do that, or you can still stick with this. So now we've come to the wonderful Earrings of Ruin. Right now you're looking at me going, okay, well, where is it? This is it. If you play the game at the very start, you get to use this for a little bit, but you don't get to ride it again until Chapter 14, which is called Witch Hunts, which is basically the money-making level in the entire game. Earrings of Ruin can be purchased by Rodan after completing Chapter 14 for 500,000 halos. This speeds up the end game incredibly fast. Basically, fights that used to take, like boss fights, maybe around 2.5 minutes were dropped to under 30. It just shreds everybody really quick. The main attack with this, you have a strong gun attack, you have a shotgun kick, those are neat. The main attack that you want to use with this is triple punch, and hold the last punch, like so. I'm going to shoot off this direction. Don't bother holding down the first attack to get these here because they're kind of slow. Your final punch of the trilogy does the most damage. This is what you want to get. 1, 2, and then hold it down. Dodge out of it. You can dodge forward if you want, but it seems that dodging back is faster. And those gunshots just destroy bosses like nobody's business. So it's like you can get right up in their face, you can pop a red lollipop to do extra damage, and you will just have life bars just disintegrate before your very eyes. So, like I said, this saved probably around 5 to 7 minutes per run and just destroyed bosses to begin with. The big trick, though, however, is saving up enough money at the end of the game in order to buy it. But once you do, this is definitely the one to use. Another technique you can use with this, if you have too many enemies around you at once, you need to get them off. Once again, the 360 spin, but with kick, does a great job. You do a sweeping like kick in the air and fire off your shotguns to hit whoever is in the area. This also does a lot of damage. So everything you do in this mech is going to just eat up, just destroy everything in your path, which is really, really awesome. So once again, punch, punch, hold it down, back out of it, continue it again. It's really great. Another thing you can do, I don't really recommend this unless you really need to, is you can jump cancel this. You can jump cancel on anything. You can do a slam move. This catches everybody within your area. It'll just pile drive them into the ground. You can also do it with kicks. Like if you watch any of my speedruns, I use this at the start of the game. Just jump and a kick. It's fast, it's strong, you can keep jump canceling until the cows come home. So, to kind of just wrap this up real fast, talked about a lot of different things real quick. Like I said, you don't have to be a speedrunner to use these techniques. If you want to use them in casual play, that's fine too. I just wanted to make sure that this video is out to basically have updated information and help out anyone who needs that. I'll also have down below a link to the Discord that we have for Bayonetta 1 and 2, and eventually 3, fingers crossed. I mean, it's been announced, but we're still waiting at this time. E3 is going on. Hopeful to finally see gameplay of it. But if you're interested in Bayonetta 1 or 2, we have those set up. You can drop in, ask us a question. If you just want to hang out, that's fine too. We actually have people who don't speedrun this game just drop in and want to hang out or ask the occasional questions. You can feel free to ask questions. Like I said, you don't have to speedrun this game, but if you're curious about anything, we have the answers available for you. Just jump into our Discord. I also have a link to the speedrun.com page for Bayonetta 2 as well, so you can see what the times are for the different categories that we have. Currently we have runs for easy, normal, hard, and infinite climax, and we also have new game plus runs too. So I do have some of those runs that I've done myself on my YouTube channel you're looking at right now, but they're also on the speedrun page too. So thanks for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you on the Discord or online, possibly running or playing yourself.